Fisher are at the guards. Up front, Paul Gasol, Vladimir Radmanovic, and Lamar Odom. The Lakers looking for bounce-back games from Odom and Gasol. Lamar only 2 of 11 from the field, 3 of 8 at the line. For the Spurs, Tim Duncan, who comes off a terrific game. 22 points, 21 rebounds on the front line with Bruce Bowen, Fabricio Oberto. And at the guards, Michael Finley and Tony Parker. Parker solid in game 3, 9 of 15, 20 points. And once again, Manu Ginobili comes off the bench. The officiating crew, Joey Crawford, Joe Forte, Mark Wunderlich. And as Ernie Johnson mentioned on the pregame, there is some history involving Joe Crawford and the Spurs. Remember last season he tossed Tim Duncan. He was on the bench laughing, and that led to a suspension of Crawford. And in the previous playoff series against the Hornets, Joey got into it with Spurs head coach Greg Popovich and hit Popovich with a technical. So the Lakers control the opening tip. Odom off the mark, and his first attempt with Gasol is right there.
Well, you can see early they're going to go to Lamar Odom. He had that game you talked about. He and Gasol combined 9 of 29. They need good performances tonight from those two players.
Parker played by Fisher with help from Gasol. Finley is open. He passed on a 3 and lost it. Here comes Fisher, chased by Bowen. Radmanovic off the nice lead pass. And this is exactly what Greg Popovich did not want to see. Does not want to see the Lakers get off to the fast start. And he's particularly worried about the combination of Odom and Fisher, who got off to quick starts in game 2 in Los Angeles. Bowen, yes.
He's been so good in this series, Marv. He's making the open shots. More importantly, he's really making Kobe work hard and allowing his teammates to stay at home on their offensive play so they do not have to double team as much.
Bowen stepped away, and that led to the traveling violation.
These two guys, we talked about throughout the series, such respect for one another. Both of them great competitors. And Mark, Bruce Bowen's defense, what he's done to Fisher's three-point shooting and Vujacic and Radmanovic, they're not getting the looks they got against Utah.
Parker with the step.
See some early quick scores here by both teams, some easy baskets. As the game goes on, they'll start feeling themselves out, and you'll see the defense really start to stiffen.
Fisher, Derek Fisher from deep in the corner, but had a foot on the line as a two-pointer. And looking back at game 3, Phil Jackson said his major concern, he felt the Spurs looked to be quicker to the ball. It was so energized as compared to game 2. Parker with a nice move, crowd looking for a foul. And the energy is there here at the start for both clubs. Odom, met by Oberto, gets it out to Radmanovic for 3. Odom on the loose ball.
They've gotten the message now. 2 offensive rebounds, so the Lakers very quick to the ball to start this game.
Here's Bryant going left, kicks it out to Radmanovic.
Radmanovic with 2 field goals. You've got Gasol with a tip. Derek Fisher, good start by the guys. Other than Kobe Bryant, remember he said one of our keys tonight is going to be getting some help.
Here is Finley. Rebound handled by Gasol. Phil Jackson saying that Kobe did not shoot at all in a shoot-around this morning. Right knee bothering him. We'll see how that plays out as Bryant hits on his first attempt.
I think his knee's feeling pretty good, but a very, very good start for the Lakers. They're very much of a rhythm offensively, and Phil Jackson talked about he didn't feel like his team had any kind of rhythm at all from the 8-minute mark of the second quarter through the rest of the game. The Spurs defense really did a nice job disrupting them.
Lakers open up by hitting 5 of their first 7. Bryant getting right to it.
Well, Marvin starts out. Kobe needs a little help from his friends. In game 3, he did a nice job. He had 30 points. The rest of his teammates, 22 for 59. We spoke of Gasol and Odom, 9 for 29 in that game. And they've got to regain their defensive mindset. After 2 very good games defensively in L.A., San Antonio comes home 103 points, so 10 of 18 from 3. And for the San Antonio Spurs, a Ginobili encore and stay hot at home. 7-0 in the playoffs at home. And when they shoot 45% or better at home, they're at 6-0. So their field goal shooting is so important here to them being able to play the great defense that they play.
And Doug, dating back to last season, San Antonio has won 13 consecutive playoff games at home. Pass from Duncan, broken up Here comes Bryant. And you can see Bowen stepped away. The Spurs feel they do not want to put Kobe Bryant at the line, and under any circumstances shot only one free throw in Game 3, and that took place when he was fouled on a potential 4-point play. Manu Ginobili getting set to come on as the foul is called on Fisher, and Manu hears it from the crowd. He was the story of Game 3. So explosive after struggling through the first 2 games, playing through the jammed left ankle, the torn fingernails, scored 30 points, 22 in the first half, hit 5 threes this after shooting 5 for 21 the first 2 games. Ginobili met on the switch by Gasol. Here's Duncan. Foul on Odom.
Well, one of the things you've seen early in this game is the speed of the Lakers when the Spurs make a mistake. If they turn the ball over, they do not have the speed to get back in transition defense. So we've already seen Kobe with a layup. We've seen Romanovich with a layup. And those are the kind of baskets that the Spurs do not want to give up. They take such great pride in their transition defense. But, Marv, when you turn that ball over, it's an open floor game, and that definitely favors the Lakers.
And Greg Popovich telling us earlier that he's looking to double team Odom and Gasol at the start. He said we'll go after them on the dribble. We won't continue that throughout the game, but we'll take our chances with the other guys. And
really, you know, that's what you think about when you're coaching between games 3 and 4 in the playoffs like that. Your assistant coaches, they start giving you suggestions like, what might we do? What might they do against us? So you start getting your game plan, and they figured that Odom and Gasol would be involved here early after the bad games in Game 3.
And Odom not able to hit. The thinking is that they would be very anxious to get into the scoring column. Odom is fouled, and he'll shoot 2. Odom in particular was so upset with himself, said did not sleep the night of Game 3, and said he just played a horrible game. Remember, did not play well in Game 1 and then had a huge performance in the second game of the series.
Well, Derek Fisher, I thought, sort of summed this team up beautifully. He said, you know, one of the things that has made this team special this year is that we hold each other accountable. We look at each other, and we're able to talk to each other about that, and that really is the growth of a team. This is an important thing here, too, Marv. Odom going up and making free throws early. 3 of 8 you talked about in Game 2 from the line, or excuse me, Game 3 from the line. And he needs to step up and see that ball go in the basket so he stays aggressive.
And to see the numbers against the Jazz as opposed to what he's done in this series against San Antonio.
Well, he feels like he has the same advantage in this series as he did against the Jazz with his speed against Oberto the other day. He just did not finish. He was not strong at the rim.
Lakers off to the good start. 14-6 lead. Duncan, he hesitated and then decided to take the shot, and Greg Popovich wants him to take those perimeter shots. Here's the double as Bowen comes over to help. Gasol rejected by Duncan. Bryant able to recapture. And he was fouled, pushed by Bowen.
Lakers are making the hustle plays early. Phil Jackson has to be very happy. Greg Popovich, this is what breaks down your defense right here, is when you try to get a stop and you don't come up with the end of the possession. You know, the nice defense here by Duncan. He forced a tough shot, gets a piece, but Kobe Bryant steps in and gets the loose ball.
Romanovich. And the Lakers, you mentioned the fact that they're on every loose ball. They've missed 4 shots, but they've come up with 4 offensive rebounds. Ginobili with his first attempt. Rebounded by Duncan, and a foul. A push-off called on Duncan.
Very similar to the start in Game 3, 15-8 for the Lakers. Ginobili hit back-to-back threes, and the Spurs went on a great run. But Duncan is going to get caught here behind Pau Gasol. Little touch foul there in the back, and I think the reason that was called is because Duncan got the offensive rebound. Had Gasol rebounded that ball, that would have been a play on.
Gasol gets inside. So the Lakers extend to an 18-8 lead as they have opened up by hitting 8 of 12 from the field, and Greg Popovich with another timeout.
Oh, he was concerned about this. The guys had played so well in Game 3, and this is what he was concerned about tonight.
And as you can see, he is upset. We'll be right back.
Well, Lakers lead 18-8. They've gotten off to a great start because everybody's involved here early. Nice little handoff. Beautiful pass from Romanovich. Gasol lays the ball in the basket. Much better ball movement. In Game 3, they had 13 assists and 14 turnovers. That will not get it done on the road.
Duncan scrambling for that pass. Shot clock to 5. Down to 2. And it's a 24-second violation. That is not what Greg Popovich had in mind after that fiery timeout. Popovich taking the 20. And as we're going to commercial, I suggest you were not reading lips. Gasol off the head fake. Rebounded by Alberto. Lakers get back. Parker cannot get into the lane, and then he's called for a travel. Parker saying to Joe Forte, he pushed me.
And he also said the ball was knocked out of his hands. So right now, the San Antonio Spurs completely out of sync. The Lakers are the aggressor, and Tony Parker right now very upset. He felt he got pushed, number 1, and then he thought the ball was knocked out of his hands. So we'll see what happens. If they got to pick up their level of play, the Lakers are going to get a double-digit lead, and the Spurs struggle to score. That's not what they want to do, play uphill.
Kobe Bryant with a good look from the baseline. The Lakers 20, the Spurs 8. San Antonio has already turned it over 4 times. Robert Horry checking in early. Here's Ginobili splitting his way through. Finds Bowen. And it is deflected. Romanovich kept it alive. Duncan for Horry. Back to Duncan. Rebounded by Gasol, and he got hit by Horry.
Robert Horry's not even looking to shoot. I mean, he had a little bit of a point-blank shot there, and he's shooting so poorly in this series. He still does not have a field goal in over 3 games now, but I mean, he had a little shot there and threw back to Duncan, who now is trying to shoot over 2 long and lanky defenders there from the Los Angeles Lakers, and then Horry compounds it with the foul.
For the Spurs, their 4th team foul. Brent Barry, who played well in Game 3, has come on, so Popovich going to his bench very early. Bryant being played now by Ginobili. Goes to the step back. So Kobe is opened up by hitting his first 4 shots. It's an 18-4 run here by the Spurs. Horry fires. Gasol on the box out.
Now, that was not a good shot. That was a quick shot. He did not move the ball from side to side, and the Spurs are at their best when that ball is moving.
Fisher coming up short, rebounded by Ginobili.
Phil Jackson told us they were going to run more screen rolls tonight with Fisher, hoping to get Parker involved in those to create some shots.
Foul is on Gasol as he tried to cut off Ginobili. It's a non-shooting foul, 13 foul on the Lakers.
Tony Parker goes underneath all those screen rolls, so when Derek Fisher comes off, he's going to have an open jump shot if he'll just knock it down. So look for that tonight in the game to see the Lakers do more of that. He only got 4 shots in Game 3, and Phil Jackson said, I want him to get 8 or 9 shots during the course of a game.
Let's check it with Craig Sager.
We're talking about Manu Ginobili the last couple of games, how well he looked in Game 3. His treatment for that jammed ankle is totally different than what you would do for a sprained ankle. The sprained ankle has an inflammation of the tendon. He had an inflammation of the bone. And so he's been using contrasting ice and cold the last couple of days. He said it feels much better. And, of course, we saw the effects of it in Game 3. But totally different from what you would do for a sprained ankle. No shot, no ejection whatsoever, just some anti-inflammatories and contrasting ice and cold.
And it was a remarkable turnaround by Manu Ginobili in Game 3. Parker at the line, the result of a foul called on Odom, and that previous foul was on Romanovich and not Gasol. So Odom picks up a second foul, and he sits down as Luke Walton comes on.
I think what you're seeing here is with this lead, Phil Jackson is going to get Lamar Odom out of the game, come in with Luke Walton. I think he's going to give Kobe an earlier rest tonight, so he'll probably come back in with Odom, wanting to keep Kobe a little fresher in the second quarter.
And Manu Ginobili remains as the defender on Bryant. That's an offensive. No, it's a traveling violation called on Walton. Rick Popovich in Game 3 made a significant adjustment in his game plan, cutting back on the Spurs pick and rolls, spread the floor, putting an emphasis on spreading the floor and ball movement. Here's Barry for three. And that philosophy of helping people like Brent Barry, you saw many open looks. Off the steal, here comes Parker, chased by Fisher. Parker lays it home.
Well, the Spurs are finally getting in sync. You get a three from Barry, the steal, the layup from Parker, and they're right back in this ball game.
7 unanswered for San Antonio. Parker not allowing the shot from Fisher. Now he fires a rainbow from downtown.
Well, Fisher is definitely more aggressive tonight, Marv. In Game 2, he came out after having that clunker 1 for 9 in Game 1. Had 7 points in the first quarter. We're seeing that Derek Fisher here tonight.
And for Fisher, that's his first successful three-pointer in the series.
Well, in the series against Utah, he was 11 for 17. And a lot of that was because the Jazz did not have the ability to stay with Kobe. They had to help so much. And guys like Derek Fisher was 11 for 17. Vujacic had 9 threes in that series. Radmanovic had 9. And three-point shooting so important for the San Antonio Spurs and really has been taken out of the Laker offense here with the Spurs defense.
Foul on Fisher, putting Parker at the line.
And see what happens, Marv, when Bowen can square up and play Kobe without too much help, then you can stay home on those shooters. When you have to start roaming around and gambling and double teaming, that's when those guys step into those three-point shots.
3:19 left in the first. Spurs showing some signs. All right, Craig, Joey Crawford, one of the best officials in the NBA in his 31st season. Working with Joe Forte, Mark Wunderlich, Tony Parker back at the line. Lakers up 25-16. So Parker has scored or assisted on San Antonio's last 9 points.
See Phil Jackson going to his bench here sooner than he has in the past. Normally you don't see Vujacic, Farmer this early in the game, or Luke Walton.
Bryant has to kick it out. Farmer got it down low. Duncan with the block. Back tap kept alive by Vujacic. Walton open for 3. And it's deflected out. Apparently a loose ball foul has been called. It is on Brent Barry.
If I'm Greg Popovich right now, I'm concerned about my defensive rebounding. Normally the Spurs do a good job of limiting second shots. In Game 3, they only gave up 8 offensive rebounds to the Lakers. In the entire game tonight, the Lakers quicker to the ball. That has to be a concern as this game wears on.
So Pau Gasol to the line with both teams over the limit. You can log on to TNT Overtime on NBA.com and vote each quarter for the Spur and Laker players that you want to watch side by side in a unique internet and television experience exclusive to TNT Overtime and NBA.com.
That's a lane violation by Robert Horry. He got in too quickly. We're seeing mental mistakes here today. Tonight by this Spurs team. You're going to see Horry step in here. Look at him right there. That's a violation. And so Gasol now going to get another attempt. So, Marv, these little things add up as the game goes on. San Antonio's not sharp here early.
And Pau Gasol takes advantage. Ime Udoka on the floor for the first time. He's up front along with Horry and Duncan. Barry and Ginobili at the guards. Ginobili facing the double and way off on that attempt. Handled by Bryant.
I have not seen the crisp passing and player movement, ball movement that I saw in Game 3 right now. The Spurs not nearly as sharp on the offensive end.
Meanwhile, the Lakers came out with a burst. Bryant, that's a three-point attempt, rebounded by Duncan. Lakers have out-rebounded the Spurs 11-3. Duncan on the drive and scores.
It's a big 2 minutes here, I think, for the Lakers. They're up 8. They want to rest Kobe to start the second quarter, so they'd like to have a nice cushion. Here's an offensive foul on Luke Walton, so we've seen him with a travel here early and an offensive foul. And last couple minutes here are important for the Lakers because when Kobe rests, you'd like to have a lead when your second unit is on the floor.
Bruce Bowen will check back in, replacing Robert Horry. A minute and 47 left in this first quarter. The Lakers have a 27-19 lead.
So with the Lakers being small now, you can get away with Udoka playing at the power position. He's actually their power forward out there right now. They've gone to that small lineup to get some three-point shooting with Duncan.
And a foul is called on Farmar. Pushing foul. Lakers over the limit. And Brent Barry, an excellent free throw shooter at the line.
Yeah, you don't want to give away points. Again, the Lakers, you want to be aggressive. You want to pressure the ball. And you can see what's happened is anytime Parker goes out of the game and Barry's out there with Ginobili and they have to orchestrate your offense, the Lakers want to pressure the ball, push them out of their sweet spots, make it tough to run your offense, but you don't want to foul and put a great free throw shooter on the line.
Brent Barry, a big factor in Game 3, 21 minutes. Hit 2 threes, came up with 4 assists, took a charge, played well defensively, passed the ball well.
I thought he hit a big 3. When Farmar hit a 3 to start the fourth quarter and make it 69-60, Barry hit a 3 to push it to 12, and they went on a 10-0 run.
There's Farmar from three-point land. Another offensive rebound for the Lakers. Bryant leading the Gasol, but the pass behind him. And out of bounds.
Great weak side defense that time by the San Antonio Spurs. Those lob passes that Kobe likes to throw to Gasol, but the weak side defender stepped over and Gasol could not make the clean catch.
Spurs are trailed by as many as 14 points. They are within 6. Duncan going at Gasol, reaching in to slap it away. Walton is fouled by Barry.
How many times we see a turnover, they could run down, either get an easy score, now they're going to get a couple free throws. So turnovers have hurt both teams here early in the game. That's 7 points off turnovers already for the Spurs and 6 for the Lakers.
Barry picks up his second foul, and Luke Walton to the line. Final minute of the first quarter.
Phil Jackson told us before the game he was going to rest Kobe in the first quarter, get him out in the last minute. That has not been the case. I think he does not like the way this lead has turned here and that the Spurs are playing better basketball. He wants to finish this quarter very strongly.
Here's the double on Duncan. Finds Barry for a long 3. Rebounded by Walton. Nice pass from Bryant. Walton came up short. Udoka for Duncan. Oh! Tim Duncan taking to the rim. Phil Jackson cannot believe that he was not called on a travel.
That sort of shades of Ginobili that Phil talked about, that little European two-step.
Yeah. Strong move by Bryant as time runs out in this first quarter. So the Spurs are within 5. What do you think, Doug?
I think the Spurs have to be very happy because they did not play well in that first period. They're only
Jackson particularly not happy with the non-call here on Tim Duncan. You mentioned the European walk. Tim grew up in St. Croix, perhaps the Caribbean two-step there.
Well, he did walk. There's no question about that. And you throw in the other fouls, and that's what Phil was upset about with the referees there at the end of that quarter.
Lakers have missed their last 7 shots. A 15-6 run by the Spurs. The last 5 minutes of the first quarter. Bruce Bowen brings the Spurs within 3.
Now remember, in the second quarter of Game 3, this is when the Lakers got a little out of sync when Lamar Odom was out there with the bench players. So let's keep our eye on the flow of this game right now.
Lamar Odom is back playing with the 2 fouls being played by Udoka. Willie Kuriaf has come on. Kuriaf. They hit that jump shot the other night. Lakers by 5. Rick Popovich going with Roberto, Bowen, and Udoka up front. Bob wanted a foul, and so Ginobili was stopped at the baseline. Here's Bowen. Rebounded by Walton. Phil Jackson has a backcourt of Farmar and Vujacic up front. Odom, Walton, and Kuriaf. Vujacic, offensive foul.
In the game the other night, Lamar Odom had the ball on the top of the floor a lot with this group. And Phil Jackson said they were just packed back in the paint, so he's taking them off the top of the floor, and he has him down on the baseline, playing out of the post a little bit, hopefully opening up the lane a little bit. But they're going to make Lamar Odom shoot jump shots when he's at the top of the floor. And when they pack that in, the Laker triangle offense, you have no cutting lanes. Everything is too congested.
Michael Finley returns, coming on for Bruce Bowen. Parker pops it back out. Shot clock down to 6. Ginobili has not been able to get going. Fires one. Rebounded by Odom. Otto missing on his first 3 attempts. Walton with the spin. Dumps it off to Kuriaf, and he's fouled.
Well, Luke Walton needed that play. He had really struggled in that first quarter. In a little over 4 minutes, he was 0 of 3, had a couple turnovers, and Kobe was not happy when he walked off the floor at the end of the first quarter. He let Luke Walton know that's not good enough tonight. Let's go. And so Luke Walton trying to pick up his level of play. He has not played well in this series. I thought he played very well against Denver, struggled against Utah, and Phil Jackson thought that was because he had to play against Matt Harpring, who really knocks you around inside. So they knew Luke Walton because he's so good at facilitating this triangle offense with his passing.
Kuriaf is 75% free throw shooter. National coverage of the NBA playoffs continues tomorrow on ESPN. Game 5 of the Pistons and the Celtics, and they're all tied up at 2. Coverage starts 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Thursday, here on TNT, it is back to Los Angeles. We'll be at Staples for Game 5 between the Spurs and Lakers starting at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. This is Game 4 of the best of 7. The Lakers leading it 2-1. The entire Western Conference Final will be seen exclusively here on TNT. Lakers with a 31-25 lead. Ginobili kicks it back out, and the ball goes back to the Lakers.
Well, we're not seeing the Manu Ginobili that we saw in Game 3 when he came in here and electrified his team with a couple 3-point shots and went on a great run. He had 22 points in the first half, 14 in that second quarter.
1 point, he scored 12 points over a stretch of 2.5 minutes. 12 points on 4 3-pointers. Nice play, and Walton able to lay it home to give the Lakers a 9-point lead.
But see, there's the adjustment I was talking about, Mark. Lamar Odom is down on the baseline and down in the paint rather than being on the top of the floor. So when they tried to double team him, you see the slashing, cutting Luke Walton. So Luke Walton, a couple nice plays to get his confidence up. There's a double team, no weak side help. But the tempo of this game right now favors the Lakers.
San Antonio trailing by 9. Brent Barry back on the floor. Left after picking up a second foul. Nice pass from Ginobili, and Duncan laid it home.
That's a beautiful play. Tony Parker made a diagonal cut through to the lane, opened that whole area up. He went to the corner. Beautiful pass inside to Duncan. A great set play out of a timeout.
Odom played by Finley. And it's a 3-second violation.
Watch Tony Parker cut through all the way to the strong side corner, clears it all out, and then Duncan seals his man beautifully. Look at all that space in the lane. Just hold him off, the beautiful pass, and the easy score. Whereas a coach, when you draw those plays up and get those points at a game like this, that's found money, Marv, when you can get points out of a timeout.
Robert Horry has returned. He's up front with Duncan and Finley. Parker and Barry at the guards. Lakers continue to do an excellent job keeping Parker away from the paint. Shot clock to 3. Finley. Good job by Odom on the box out against Horry.
See, with Horry not looking to shoot, Lamar Odom once again is roaming defensively.
Walton gets to it. Nice play by Luke Walton.
Well, he's made 3 baskets now after a very slow start. Excuse me, I guess 2 field goals now. He's 2 of 5. They got off to a very slow start.
Barry passed on a 3. Barry lost it, recovered by Horry, and a foul is called. Foul on the Lakers. It's 3 on Odom.
Well, this might be the Lakers' quickest defensive team now, but now with Odom having to sit down, Vlade Romanovich will come into the game. So if you are Phil Jackson, you're very, very happy. Not the fact that Odom has got 3 fouls and he's going to have to sit, but you've got a 9-point lead, and Kobe Bryant is getting a nice long rest over there. So every minute you can buy in the first half, the less energy he uses early, the more he's going to have to finish this game if they need him.
Robert Horry at the line for 2. Did not go to the line frequently during the regular season. Did not play much during the regular season. An injury-hit year. Just 7 of 13 at the line.
Marv, that's his first point of the series. He has not made a field goal. And again, he is so important. I thought he played a very, very good defensive game the other day. He got his hands on a couple balls. He had 2 block shots. Did not look really to shoot the basketball. But a big part of what he does is bring great spacing onto the floor. So when Parker and Ginobili penetrate or Duncan post, they have so much room to work.
Spurs now 10 of 10 at the line. Let's check in with Craig Sager.
Well, Marv, yesterday, Robert Horry did not practice. He had his knee drained, his left knee. So it was the first time in his career that he's had his knee drained, but he thought he was lacking mobility and was not able to get his shot off by using his legs. He said he feels much better today.
All right, here's Barry. That'll count. It's a goal tag. The Laker lead has been cut to 5. Standing ovation here in San Antonio for the Spurs. They got off to the slow start. Radmanovich for 3.
His scoring has been so good. I talked to him before the game. I said, Vlade, you had 9 rebounds in the game. They sort of quietly had a nice ball game when a lot of the other guys struggled with him from that starting lineup.
Lakers shooting well, 15 of 30. Parker swept by Bryant. Curious hit a jumper a moment ago. It's kept alive by Jordan Farmar.
Second chance points for the Lakers, Marv, tonight, 14. That's the difference in the game right now. The energy points, the easy scores. Points off turnovers, second chance points.
Lakers up by 10. Good ball movement, setting it up for Barry. Brent Barry hit 2 threes in game 3. Once again attempting a long 3-pointer. And hit it.
Well, he's one of the guys that makes that motion offense go. Vladimirovic, a catch and shoot. But Brent Berry, excellent passer, knows how to play off the ball in his three-point shooting. Great in this motion offense.
Duncan going at Turiaf. Rebounded by Ori. And they have a new shot clock. Halfway through the second quarter. And now Bryant with help defending on Duncan. Nice ball movement. Parker rejected. Here comes Farmar. He and Bowen getting involved. And it's a push-off. The foul called on Farmar. Offensive foul on Jordan Farmar.
That's the 8th Laker turnover, so these turnovers are helped keeping San Antonio around when the Lakers have been outplaying them.
Back in San Antonio, time for Looking Good Today, sponsored by Dockers. And we flash back to the 1999 West Finals Game 2 on Memorial Day. The Spurs down by 12 seconds left. You remember this play. Sean Elliott somehow managed to stay in bounds, hit a three-pointer to give San Antonio an 86-85 win. The shot came to be known as the Memorial Day Miracle, with Sean keeping his feet in bounds. Spurs went on to sweep the Blazers and then defeat the Knicks in the NBA Finals at the lockout season. But log on to TNT Overtime at NBA.com for more Dockers Looking Good performances. And that was the first of 4 titles for the Spurs within 9 years.
I think that's the one that Phil Jackson said there should have been an asterisk because it was a strike-short year. So just another way to just sort of tweak the Spurs, as he likes to always do.
Trying to touch a nerve, but then San Antonio went on to win 3 more. And this season looked to make it back-to-back for the first time, while the Lakers, the top seed in the West. And these two teams matched up in this Western Conference Final Series. Gasol is back in defending on Duncan. Duncan had it knocked away. He thought he was fouled. Back comes Bryant. Moving on the backpedaling Bowen, takes all the way. And a foul call. The call before the shot attempt. It is on Bowen. That's his second.
Well, you see what the San Antonio Spurs, the last 67 minutes in this series, 3 offensive rebounds for only 2 second chance points. Tonight they've been outscored by 14, and that's the difference in the game.
Vujacic, rebounded by Duncan. Derek Fisher back in, playing with the 2 fouls. Here's Parker, and he took the shoulder from Vujacic. Parker accelerated, saw the opening as he hit the lane for Vujacic, his second foul.
You know, that last graphic, Marv, I think also tells you the defensive philosophy of the Spurs. They're not going to go for offensive rebounds. They're thinking transition defense, and the Lakers have sped this game up tonight. They're looking to get in the open court more so the Spurs cannot get their half-court defense set.
Here's Parker, finding Bowen. They swing it. Barry for 3. Parker is on it. Oh, he's hit by Fisher. That's 3 on Fisher as Parker took a shot, hit the deck. He's all right.
Well, Derek Fisher here is going to get caught up with Tony Parker in the wrong spot at the wrong time. Inadvertent foul. That's going to be his, 3rd foul, Marv? So now both he and Lamar Odom are in foul trouble. And if we go back to that Utah series in games 3 and 4 on the road, Derek Fisher got in foul trouble in both of those games, and it really hurt his team. So we're going to keep an eye on this now. Looks like that Phil Jackson might stay with Derek Fisher with Lamar Odom out with 3 fouls. He might think he needs to stay with Fish and not give up this lead that they have built here in this first half.
San Antonio is hit on all 12 of its free throws. Parker 6 for 6. Spurs are within 5. Lakers got off to a 22-8 lead at the start. Bryant played very well by Bowen. Kept alive by Radmanovic. Vladimir Romanovich, who has his ups and downs, has been up in this first half. That's 11 points for Romanovich.
5 of 7 from the floor. Remember the one game he was 5 of 5 in that first quarter. He kept his team afloat really when everybody else was struggling.
Duncan with the step and fouled by Gasol. That is the second on Pau Gasol. So Tim Duncan to the line. Well, parenting isn't easy. Watch TV's Funniest Family. This June, the Bill Engvall Show is back. You can catch all new episodes of this family comedy June 12th at 9 only on TBS. And I know you have an addendum.
Very funny. Marv, I'm your straight guy now. I mean, it's just scary. I mean, I'm your Ed McMahon now, sidekick.
See, Reggie Miller is so accustomed to adding that line. We were going to bring him down just for that from the studio.
I wanted him to have a headset tonight on, so when we did that commercial, Reggie's voice could pop in, so you would feel at home with that.
He'd be delighted. Duncan now 3 of 3 at the line.
And Phil Jackson has taken Derek Fisher out of the game, so we'll watch this lineup now. You do have Kobe out there, Gasol, and Romanovich, so you have the starting center with Kobe out there, and you've got now Farmar and Vujacic. They like to play those two guys together to give them the speed.
Gasol tries to set the screen. Bryant took a hit. No call. And Duncan handles. Ginobili for Barry from downtown. Rebounded by Bryant. There's Vujacic for 3. Barry able to get to it. Bowen running too. He was looking for a call. Barry lost it and is fouled. He got bailed out. Vujacic going for the steal, reaching in, and called for the foul. That's his third.
You get a sense in the importance of this game, Marv, as big as Game 3 was for the Spurs. It doesn't mean that much if they lose tonight. If they go down 3-1, this is not a series. 2-2, now you got a series because you've got a very young Laker team, really with only Kobe Bryant and Derek Fisher having big-time playoff experience with 3 championship rings together. The rest of that team, very, very young. So Greg Popovich has said, I want to get to a Game 5, 2-2, and give ourselves a chance to play better than we did against New Orleans. He said we were terrible against New Orleans in Game 5.
And Brent Barry has become a major factor, starting with Game 3 here on Sunday night. That's point number 12 for Barry. The Spurs 16 for 16 at the line.
You know,
and apparently some blood on the hand of Barry as San Antonio athletic trainer Will Seventy is checking it out.
You know, Marv, in college, Brent Barry actually shot free throws underhanded for a while, like his father, and then reverted to the over-the-head natural style. But he actually shot the free throws like his dad when he was at Oregon State.
And his father, one of the great free throw shooters of all time. And I can recall Rick try to convince other players to shoot underhand. He did succeed with a couple of teammates. Bryant sets it up for Walton. Parker is on it. He has Ginobili on the wing. Parker all the way and scores! The bucket counts and he was fouled.
You can't stop Tony Parker in the open floor. He's got so much speed, and he has the ability to be able to sort of jump away from that defender. Very lucky here. Looked like the Lakers might have another offensive rebound. Watch Tony Parker jump away from the defender. Farmar gets his body in there, gets the blocking foul, and this is the emotion that Greg Popovich has wanted from his team to start the game. He's finally starting to get it, and they've called back to tie this ball game after being down by 14.
A 12-2 run by San Antonio. Gasol comes right back. Lakers 45, the Spurs 43. 3 minutes to play in the first half. Marv Albert with Doug Collins and Craig Sager We're in the River City, San Antonio, Texas, for this Game 4 of the best-of-7 Western Conference Final. Duncan. I think he was surprised he had the opening as Gasol was on the other side. Palmer. Stopped by Parker. Gasol got it down low and a foul is called. Foul on Ginobili, that is his first. With just under 2.5 to go in this first half. Lakers up by 2. A little frustration on the part of Derek. San Antonio's come back from a 14-point deficit. Just under 2.5 to play in this first half. Radmanovic's pass picked off by Barry.
Brent Barry's playing the role of Manu Ginobili in Game 3.
Duncan off a nice pass from Parker.
Now see, that's a setup play when you're very aggressive on a pick and roll, Mark. When that big guy jumps out, the big guy doesn't even screen offensively. You just slip it and go to the basket. Parker and Duncan have seen every coverage.
Foul committed by Duncan.
Watch the Laker big man. See where Gasol is? He's already waiting for Parker. You don't even set the screen. Just slip it. And poor weak side rotation by Luke Walton. If you're going to be able to get out there that quickly, you've got to pre-rotate and get there and take away that pass.
Second foul on Duncan. Non-shooting foul. Next foul puts the Spurs over the foul limit. Lakers are over. Bryant for Walton. Rebounded by Barry. Here comes Parker. Ginobili for 3. Rebounded by Bryant. Ginobili now 0 for 4 from the field. Bryant, yes.
Spurs still have not been able to take the lead. That would have been a huge shot had Ginobili knocked that 3 down in the corner. Psychologically, Kobe keeps the Lakers here ahead by 2.
Kobe Bryant 5 for 10. He has 10 points. We are approaching a minute left in this first half. Parker using the screen. Parker gets inside. Forced the shot. Was trying to draw the foul. Farmar takes all the way and is rejected by Duncan.
That was a good non-call when Parker tried to jump into Gasol. He maintained his position. He did not reach down, and that's why Tony Parker did not get that call.
And now Duncan will sit down. There's a third block shot for Duncan. 22nd timeout is called by Phil Jackson.
Tim Duncan back doing what he does best, guarding the basket for the San Antonio Spurs. Even with Duncan, they are not a great shot blocker.
And this is easily the best game of this series because both clubs have come out with terrific energy, intensity at a high level. Obviously a must-win situation for the Spurs, who do not want to go back to L.A. trailing 3-1.
Well, it's a swing game. You either take control of the series, your Lakers, knowing that you got 3 chances to win 1 game, or you're the San Antonio Spurs, you're the defending champions. You say, we win tonight, we got a great chance to go back to L.A. and put a lot of pressure on still a very young team that really has not played that much together. You think of Gasol getting him late, and still a lot of young players on this team.
Game 5 back in Los Angeles Thursday night, and right here on TNT, starting at 9 o'clock Eastern time. Farmar for 3. Kept alive by Walton, and Luke Walton, after the slow start, has come on very strong.
Well, he just out-hustled Manu Ginobili that time. He got him to the loose ball, and those kind of opportunities, Greg Popovich is going to really be upset at halftime.
Neither club shooting well from 3-point land. Parker getting inside.
What an uncanny ability to be able to feel himself, find those little cracks in the lane, and got beautiful awareness of kissing that ball off the glass and using the proper angles.
15 points, 5 assists for Parker. Walton spinning on Ginobili. It counts. And the foul.
You see what Phil Jackson's doing? He's going right at Ginobili. They've gone to a small lineup. And so what is he doing? He's posting Walton. And what he's doing, he's keeping Ginobili down on the baseline here, forcing him to use a lot of energy playing against a stronger player. So the Lakers taking this matchup and going right at it. And when you look at the Spurs, Mark, Thomas is in the game because Duncan picked up his second foul, and they do not want him to get his third going into halftime.
Ginobili called for his second. Now Barry is back, replacing Bowen. Walton is 70% free throw shooter during the regular season. Romanovich with the save. What a play going behind the back. And it gives the Lakers an extra possession they can hold for a final shot of the half. Ginobili defending on Bryant. Does not want to pick up a third. We're down to 5 seconds. Down to 3, 2. Bryant, yes, with 1 second left in this first half. Barry looking to inbound, gets it in. So the Lakers with a good finish in the final minute of this first half.
Very similar to Game 2 in L.A. Remember, it was 37-all, and they went on a 9-0 run to go up 46-37. This time it was a 6-0 run to finish off the quarter and give them some breathing room going into halftime.
So the High Point men, Tim Duncan with 14, Tony Parker with 15 points, Kobe Bryant with 12, Vladimir Romanovich with 11, and a solid all-around game for Luke Walton, 9 points, 4 rebounds, bouncing back from some